So we're talking about all three of the major consoles. Jordan, what's your topic?
My topic is our all-time favorite controllers. For me, it is the DualShock 4. I think besides the touchpad, and the light bar, it's the closest thing to perfect we'll ever have in a controller.
Okay.
Like, the hand size fits me perfect. The buttons and everything, the sticks are awesome. The touchpad's fine. I wish it just had a regular select button or whatever, but the light bar, I think it sucks in a way, but it's actually kind of cool because I have like stickers for mine, and it's kind of a nice way to customize your controller. Other than that, the triggers are awesome. Like, it's the closest thing to perfect, I really believe.
So are we talking like usability, or are we talking our personal favorite, like the one we enjoyed using the most? Those are two different things.
Take it down whatever road you want to.
Okay.
We can get detailed if you want. Like, for example, if I had the DualShock 4 with the Xbox One's like really grippy thumbsticks and the Xbox One's like padded triggers with vibrators in each of them, it's so perfect.
So what you're saying?
If I could have like a little baby between the Xbox One
exactly
controller and the DualShock 4,
they could just kiss and
it
make
would
up.
be magnifico. But yeah, get as nitty gritty as you want to.
Okay, so I'll take this in two different directions. I'll say the one that I think for actually being a solid gaming controller, and the one I find my favorite. I think they're two different things. So my favorite gaming controller is the GameCube controller. It's weird. It feels weird, but I like offset analog sticks, and the triggers were probably the worst part of that controller in my opinion. The camera buttons were weird too, but the trigger buttons I think were the weirdest thing about it. I thought it was a cool controller. The games I played, I think it felt fine for those games. I thought they were cool looking. A lot of people buy them for Smash because I guess, I don't know, the way the controllers feel are a lot better than anything that the Wii or Wii U did. So a lot of people like getting those GameCube controllers. I thought it was just cool. It was interesting. It was weird. A lot of times when friends came over, because a lot of my friends didn't own a GameCube because a lot of people didn't, they'd be like, is that your controller? And I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, oh, let me check it out. And they thought it was cool. It wasn't very practical, but it was cool. Coming in second place on controllers I really liked was the actual 64 controller. Not from a practicality standpoint. I just thought it was cool because you had this thing that kind of looked like the Millennium Falcon, but not really, and it was a controller. You know,
Jesus.
It was terrible for any game that required you to spin the middle joystick, especially like Mario Party or even Super Mario 64, because it tore the inside of your hand apart. Once again, the camera buttons were weird, but I thought it was cool. The rumble pack was cool.
Quirkiness in a controller.
Yeah, from that's cool, yes, or like a collector where like I have them and showcase them. From actually using a controller, my problem, I like the DualShock 3 a lot, but my favorite controller is probably the Xbox One controller. I like the DualShocks, except I've held the PlayStation 4 controller, but they always feel so flimsy to me. And I'm not saying that, from a manufacturing standpoint, they build them cheaply. But for me, when I would hold a DualShock 3, it felt like I was going to break it. It just felt too small to me.
The DualShock 4 is
way sturdier.
Yeah, okay. So I haven't held the PlayStation 4, so it probably feels great. Like I said, I'm more of an offset analog stick kind of guy. I do enjoy the PlayStation controllers. I like their D-pad. I've always liked their D-pad more than the Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
The Xbox One kind of fixed that. It's a little bit better, but it's still, I think that PlayStation's D-pads are better. Also, I don't know if this is the same on DualShock 4, but I think when you push in a button on PlayStation, it feels you have a lot more feedback than when you push a button on an Xbox controller. Yeah. I think it's maybe because the Xbox buttons are more like half spherical, whereas the PlayStation buttons are a little bit more flat.
I do like that.
I agree with you that I don't think that. Well, I think that if they merge the two controllers, I think it'd be the best thing because they both have things that work well and they both have things that don't work well.
I've seen those mods on eBay.
Yeah. The original Xbox controller was awful. What are they called? The Duke? Oh, yeah. That giant-ass thing. The Duke. 360 controller was good. I actually thought it was better than Xbox One when I saw the Xbox One controller.
It's one of the best.
But it's heavier to me. It feels like in comparison to the Xbox One. And the thing that they fixed with it is the battery pack would stick out really weird on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And on the Xbox One, it's smooth. And when you're holding a controller, it doesn't feel like you're like sticking your hands into gunk in the back of it. You know what I'm talking about? Like your hands are getting lost in a crevice of nastiness. But yeah, so GameCube, probably my favorite controller just for coolness factor. For usability, I would have to go with the Xbox One. But I don't think the Xbox One controller is that much farther ahead than the DualShock 4 in my eyes. I haven't played with the DualShock 4, but it looks like it's a good controller. Once again, I just like the offset joysticks more.
So my personal favorite is by far the Wii U gamepad. I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm just kidding.
Dom is now off of the Gamecast. We're looking for a replacement member.
No, it's tough because I think the DualShock 4, in terms of how you guys just described, controller qualities, is the best to me.
Mm-hmm.
The flat buttons, the triggers, and like it is sturdier than the DualShock 3 was. It feels much nicer. It's a little bit bigger, I think. So
that's good.
Awesome.
They spread the sticks out too.
Exactly. The thumbsticks are much better than the DualShock 3, although they're still not quite as good as the Xbox One, but they're good enough for me anyway. I don't need I don't play a ton of shooters or anything. I like the touchpad, even though it's not really utilized the way they thought it might be. Or
Can you turn
off
the light bar? Can you turn off that function of it shining?
You can dim it.
You can go dim, bright, or brightest.
But you just can't turn it off? That's weird.
Nope.
So the one thing we haven't really hit on yet is the difference between the rechargeable, by default anyway, PlayStation controller versus the batteries. The AA batteries you have to put in Xbox One.
Yeah.
I prefer the rechargeable in the PlayStation. Obviously, you can buy your playing charge kit on Xbox or whatever, but
they suck. Those kits suck. They break all the damn time.
Yeah, I definitely prefer.
I've got one that's been working, but what you're talking about with the difference, Dom, is like you have to have a separate battery pack for the Xbox Ones.
Yep.
And on the DualShock 4, you just throw it on the dock and you're already good to go.
Right. So yeah, I much prefer that.
Definitely a plus. I'll give you guys that 100%.
Although there's one fatal flaw with the DualShock 4, and that's that the battery lasts all but 2 goddamn hours.
I think it's because of the light bar. They deny it, but I really think that light bar drains it even on dim.
That'd be cool. I wonder if somebody's done an experiment where somebody take apart the controller and take out that function, and do a test to see if you actually have longer battery life without it functioning.
I've heard of people, you can just replace the battery, but I haven't tried it yet. I need to get into that because you can just up the wattage and you can double it, and I think you should get, twice as long a battery.
So the PlayStation 4 doesn't use a micro USB?
Yeah, it does.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, they switched it on PS3. It was mini USB, so they switched it to micro for this one.
So I've actually used phone chargers to charge my DualShock 4 a few times.
I think it's interesting that we can all agree that neither of these controllers are absolutely perfect, and it just really comes down to preference, right? Kind of like the console thing too. It's like they have their features that are better than one another, but it's really down to preference. It'd be cool if one day we just have one console and we get the best of both worlds, and it would never happen. But taking the things that both of them know how to do well and putting them in a controller, because we're getting close. Like you said, my biggest gripe with the DualShock 3 was that it felt flimsy to me. I felt like I was going to break it.
And those awful R2, L2 triggers.
Yeah.
I have a problem with breaking right triggers in controllers. I don't know why. I'm left-handed, so maybe it's I don't really notice how hard I push down with my right hand. But every controller I've ever had on every console I've ever had, my right trigger is always broken.
Well, you know what they say. The harder you push the button, the faster your bullets go.
Yeah, right? I need my light-up shoes so I can run faster. Everything's looking good.
Sorry, the craziest part about the whole battery thing, the DualShock 3 controller, the battery lasted days, I swear. Days and days.
Yeah, because you don't have a light bar shining in your face.
Right, and then they made a bigger and heavier controller in the DualShock 4, but somehow the battery life regressed. I don't understand it.
Speaking of the light bar shining in your face, a huge minus on the Xbox One controller is what I call the lighthouse. And it's just the stupid Xbox logo that's a bright white light shining in your eyes in the middle of the night. And I had to put tape over it and stuff.
Oh, I've never gamed at night with all the lights out, so I didn't even know about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, even when like the lights are on, I don't like it because it's just distracting to me.
That being said, Jerrad, tonight, get your Xbox out, turn all the lights off, and play Dead Space at night.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
I need to replay through it, yeah.
You were supposed to be doing that. You should have known about the lighthouse.
I know. The Division, though, man, it has its hooks in me. I'm sorry. I'm addicted. I need to go to AA or DA. I need to play it, though. I'll play it.
Division Anonymous.
Yeah. So you would say, Dom, did you... I don't know if I caught... What would you say your favorite controller is? Is it the DualShock 4?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
It's the best, man.
Yeah.
If we had a scale here at Controlled Interest, I would give it high 9s.
I have a question for you. What do you think is the most recognizable controller of all time?
Okay.
DualShock, just the DualShock in general.
I don't think
right?
so. I think I have. Well, in my opinion, I don't obviously. Let me look it up. I have an idea. It would be my.
Okay, so I would say GameCube, but not enough people had a GameCube to know what the controller looked like.
And by recognizable, I mean you post this up, a picture of it, and you say, "What is that?" And they'll say, "Oh, that's a game controller for
the
that."
Wiimote.
Oh god.
The Wiimote or the 360 controller?
You don't think it's the NES controller?
That too.
But all right.
too.
It's very simplistic. It's gray, red, and black, and I think people see that and they're like, "Oh, that's a controller for the Nintendo." Because you know how old people are. Everything's a Nintendo, you know.
Yeah.
So by virtue of them saying that for everything, they're gonna get it right. You know?
Well, yeah, maybe if you're asking someone of a certain age, but think about it this way though. Each console, each brand is, they've evolved their controllers a lot. Look at the original Xbox to the Xbox One controller.
But both of them have the same standard shape, though.
I don't know. I just think that the
yeah.
DualShock is just so similar, like, with each console. It's just you could.
They changed a lot with the DualShock 4, though. But yeah, first three were replicas of each other.
To me, the DualShock 3 is Nolan's Batman, and the DualShock 4 looks like the new Batman with the armor. It's like beefier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So, what are we sitting here? DualShock 4, DualShock 4, Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean,
no surprises.
DualShock 4, when I hold it, I just enjoy it.
It feels like home.
It feels like home. I love it, dude.
It does feel so nice.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Controlled Interest Gamecast. If you want to stay up to date, remember to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a follow on SoundCloud and on Twitter at CTRLINT. #SmashTheDunst.